One other thing I wanted to kind of mention to you with the budget amendment, the county had approved a 3% cost of living increase, of course, for their employees with their budget amendment. Mr. Spivey had mentioned, he said, it was kind of a definite a plus for the employees. They had worked so hard. They had been very diligent through this pandemic. They'd all been there when a lot of places were closed or at home, working from home. Like us, they've been there the whole time working hard. Like I said, we do have the money in our budget for a cost of living increase. And I wanted to bring it to you tonight to see if you had any direction. It could give me direction as to if you felt comfortable with us moving forward with doing that as well. In the past, we've tried to kind of follow along the same guidelines as the county as far as increases. And so I was just looking to you to get any direction you might have tonight as far as being able to implement that for our employees as well.
Let's put that on the topic for roundtable discussion tonight. I'd rather take it up here and get a polling of how the board feels about it.
Okay.
But our budget would be affected by such a Ms. Creech.
I think we do need to make sure financially we're able to do that, but I would like to say that as excellent a job as our staff has done to keep our expenses below what they are, especially within this time that we've had with COVID. And I've talked with Nanette and a lot of people, and most of our people have come in and worked and done what they were asked to do. They social distanced, they wore masks, they didn't shirk their duties. Around the country you hear of people that don't want to come in or don't want to do this, that, or the other, but our staff has consistently been the backbone of this organization. People do not realize that at the recycling centers, they don't just push a button. They're trained to do so many pulls, and they save this county and the cities a lot of money by the training and the work that they do. So if there's any way that they can get the 3% that the county does, and we have the finances to do it, with the way they manage what is here, I'd like for them to have it.
Thank you, Ms. Creech.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought I heard Jan say that we had the finances. Is that
Jan,
what I heard?
would you step up to the podium, please? We're putting you on the spot. You brought up the question.
As I did mention, yes, so we do have the funds available in the budget this year for the 3% cost of living.
But we definitely want the board to feel comfortable with the finances, as we always do. But board decision will work either way.
Well, I guess one thing is, we've been relying on her budgets all the while. I don't know why we're questioning it now. I'm just not one for having meetings to have meetings.
Amen.
If she's saying that we got the money, I don't understand why we need to have a finance meeting to reaffirm what she just told us. So I'd like to make a motion that if we have the monies in the budget to give the 3% raise to the staff, I would recommend that we do that for this committee.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion.
I totally, completely concur with Mr. Hughes' suggestion, recommendation, his motion that you don't have a meeting for the sake of having meetings, and if the finances are there, let's move forward.
Mr. Johnson.
I think we need to have a meeting in order to discuss that and the money, and to discuss the potential, the money for the employees at the Murphy.
That would be an alternate.
If we got extra money, we need to look at hiring Murphy employees.
That would be an alternate motion. Carlisle.
Do we have a contract with the temp agent to get people back and forth to the Murphy to work?
Yeah, as discussed in the committee, we work with 5 or 6 temporary employment agencies. And it takes just about all of them to keep staff over here at the number 6 building, C&D, and at the Murphy. But this would be a budget discussion, and we'll go ahead and put together the budget side of full-time people at the Murphy for the budget process. and then we'll know where we're standing.
Mr. Chairman, my motion was based on the staff that we are talking about now.
You're talking about professional staff, and you're
Professional
talking,
staff,
and you're talking
that
about,
we get the 3% is what I'm talking about.
the
It's
staff that are at
currently
centers.
full-time employees, or whatever how we get it. If we're looking at doing something at the MERV, it's a long-term process, because the board will have to agree that we are now going to change it to full-time employees at the MERV. There will have to be a budget put together for the board to review to see what that cost is. So my motion has nothing to do with that. That's totally different from what Sam's
it would be
talking about.
professional staff
I'm
and
talking
the
about who we
convenience
usually
centers.
give it to in the past.
And the convenience centers.
Right.
And you do understand that a cost of living increase at this time would bump salaries next year automatically.
Yeah.
No one has a problem with that. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. If everyone's happy
Yeah,
with that, that's not
the
it.
3% you're currently talking about is not going to be a bonus for the next 5 months. It's going to be.
Everyone gets the 3% cost
That's
of
right,
living.
and it carries forward
from
throughout
before
to
this point
infinity.
on. Right. So it's not just a, right, just not just a 5-month item.
So if we could, and one other suggestion, you're the chair of the finance.
Correct.
If you want to call a meeting to discuss the issues that Sam's talking about, that's your prerogative.
I would
But
definitely
I would
like
like
to
for us
do
to
that.
make some determination on the motion that I have on the floor.
The motion that's on the floor is just professional staff, and those are the convenience centers. Any further discussion on the motion?
And then I will hold a separate meeting to address Sam's issue.
That is your discretion.
That's my discretion. I've made the decision that I will hold a meeting to address Sam's issues.
I think
Sam's
that would be a
concerns.
productive exercise. The motion has been made. Any further comment? Call the question. And all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Please say aye.
Aye.
We have one opposed, but the motion carries